This is That Twin Mama podcast. But hey, you don't have to be a twin mom to be here. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. So whether you are new, soon to be, or seasoned parent, or maybe you just hope to have kids someday, I promise you'll find something to love, learn from, or laugh at in each episode. I'm your host, Lauren Berty. Let's do it. Hey, y'all. It's That Twin Mama podcast. Lauren here. So for this week's episode, we're diving into a very hot topic of traveling with your littles, which is no small feat. Yes, pun intended. We decided to go with this episode. Honestly, as of late, my most viral videos have everything to do with traveling with littles, whether it's a vlog about me traveling with my twins alone or showing a window into what it looks like getting onto a plane with a screaming toddler. I was totally not expecting it to have such a engaging reaction from everyone. Well, I understood why moms and parents would want to know about traveling with littles. Honestly, it's probably one of the most stressful things to do that they don't really prepare you for. Sleep you're not going to get, and you're going to breastfeeding if you want to do that, and expenses. But I think I underestimated all the logistics and the things to prepare for when it comes to traveling with littles. So that's that. I expected the attention from parents. What I did not expect is for every Karen and Kyle to come out of the woodwork and claim they've never been a child because they are totally offended by the presence of children and in their vicinity. Literally, the fact that there is a child crying on a public place, and God knows that I'm just as anxious and upset that my child is crying. I'm doing everything in my power to appease my child. But they find that I am personally attacking them with having a child on a plane. Actually, they think that the child is at fault for being a baby and having no other forms of communication except to cry. So this is all to say, y'all. Not to say that every person or passenger that is not a parent on a plane is going to be a complete asshole, but there's a lot. And so everything you can do in your power to prepare for traveling with your littles emotionally, mentally, logistically is something that's going to make your life easier. And honestly, it's give yourself grace. There's certain times I've flown with my kids and it's been absolutely a dream. I'm like, yes, mom of the year. There's other times where it's been, a little challenging, but I dive into this week's episode with a baby, toddler, twin mama traveling expert, Marquita Wright, and we talk about it all. We talk about things that you want to pack, what you can do to mentally and emotionally prepare, what we wish we knew, like even different products we use as we travel with our little ones. So I'm hoping that no matter how old your child is, whether you are a newborn stage or toddler or slightly older, that this episode helps you prepare for all that it is to travel with little ones, because it is a joy to bring your kids. It can be a joy and completely a stressful joy to travel with little people anywhere. So hope this helps. This week, I'm super excited. I have a very close friend of mine and an awesome person to follow, the traveling twin mama, Marquita. I started following Marquita, I feel like right from the jump. Honestly, my kids were like, your boys are older. My girls are 2, almost 3. And I was like, this woman is amazing. Basically, Marquita, she is at the traveling twin mama. She helps women travel on their own terms confidently. When pregnant with her twin boys, she was consistently told that her wanderlust would have to end once they were born. In an effort to continue to do what she loves, travel, she was determined to figure out a way to do both, travel and be a great mom. Now at the age of 5, her twin boys have been on 50 plus trips, girl, by 8 countries. And similarly, she prioritizes mommacations, solo trips, vacations with their husbands, and girls trips. She firmly believes that women can travel after kids with or without them in tow. Welcome, Marquita.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you. I just love that, how you kind of just preface that it seems like you always loved to travel or had a passion for it. And then with your boys, it almost it's different, I'm sure, but it didn't stop you. So I'm wondering, where did your passion for travel come? How did you find the energy to continue to have passion to travel with your littles? And just tell me a little bit about you and how you've gotten to be such a wanderlust spirit and keep it as a twin mama.
So travels initially, so I wasn't like a kid that traveled a ton.
Yeah.
The first international trip wasn't until I was in college and it was a study abroad, like
Okay. Yeah.
literally in Mexico for 6 months, got my passport for the study abroad,
Wow.
my junior year in college, and didn't really do any other trips besides like one. But once I met my now husband, he lived in New Orleans. I lived in Charlotte at the time. And instead of just going to see each other, we would actually meet in a destination. So
I
that's
love
kind of
that.
yeah,
So
that's kind of where
cool.
it started, right? And
Got
then
it.
as it got more and more serious, then we would take international trips and different like things like that together. But it really went to the next level with my current employer, because I work in a global role, and so I was able to travel the world. Like my first week on the job, it was a training in Amsterdam,
Oh,
and so then
cool.
I'm in Amsterdam, and I think after that, I would travel internationally like 3 to 5 times a year and
Wow.
domestically like 2 to 3 times a month. So I was traveling a ton before having my boys. And so once I got
Right.
pregnant with my boys, people are telling me that I'm going to have to stop traveling. So not
Yeah.
only does that mean it's going to reduce my wanderlust, but I have to
Mhm.
change careers.
Ooh, right.
And I'm like, no, like
No.
that's not happening. Like I
Yeah.
like my job. I get to travel the world. I work with cool people. I'm not changing my job
I
and
love
listen to
that.
somebody that has never traveled. Like you haven't left Louisiana, sis. Like
Right.
don't. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Pipe down, Brenda.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Like you're not the life that I want, so I
Yeah.
most definitely won't be listening to you. And so then, yeah, it was a matter of just figuring it out. So once my boys, we went to their 3 month checkup, and I asked the doctor, like, "Oh, when can they start traveling?" Just casually asking, and she was like, "Whenever you want." I was like, "Say
Wow.
less, sis." So at 4 months,
Love it.
they were on the plane going to
Wow.
Milwaukee, where I'm from. So it was very like a flights I've taken for years and years, a place that I know. So the only pressure was getting them to Milwaukee.
Right.
And
Right.
it's mainly like the stuff to bring, right?
Yes.
So that is
Let's
the
get
big,
into that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was the biggest part. So that's what I would tell moms is like, if you want to travel with your kids and you don't know what to do, start with something you're used to. Like go
Mm,
to a destination you've been to before, especially if you've lived there with people that can help you. And then that way, the only things you're thinking about is what to bring.
right.
And plus,
Right.
you're in the United States. So if you forgot something, it's called Instacart
Yeah.
and Amazon Prime. Like
Right. Right.
you can get what you need. Like
Right.
you're not so start like that, and then that's how you kind of get the groove of what else you should do.
Right. I love that because like I think like the idea of like preparing to fly or preparing to travel with littles, like when you think of it, if you think about all the things, like it can be a little overwhelming or anxiety written for us. But if like you start small, like you said, like maybe go to a place that you're familiar with, maybe the flight's only like 1 to 2 hours, 2 to 3, like you
Exactly.
ain't doing that like long haul flight, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
preparing as much as you can on the front end with like what to bring, snacks, food, with all those types of things and taking it step at a time. Like as someone that I do like get anxious easily, but if I think about it less like that, step by step, and the fact that we birthed twins, straight up traveling, girl,
You
bye,
can
we
do
can do
it.
that. Yeah.
You can do
like,
it. It's
like if you
most
put it in
definitely doable.
perspective, you know what I mean? Like it's definitely doable. Okay. So okay. So you said that you first traveled with your boys at 4 months. That is wild.
Mhm.
Like, tell me how, like, I'm sure at every stage, because I've bought a lot of things from your page, just been like, okay,
Hey,
pockets
thank
fill.
you.
Of course. I'm like, that looks great. But I will say, like at every stage, I feel like traveling with littles can look different about what you
Yes.
bring and what that looks like. So bring me through like traveling with newborns versus like toddlers versus your boys now. What's like the
Yeah.
essential packing list from strollers to baby wearing? Like, what do you,
Oh,
what's,
that's so
yeah,
good. So when they were younger, and when I'll say younger, like less than 6 months, because it
yeah,
kind of changes with that. When
right.
they're less than 6 months, if you only have one child, I would say baby wear them.
Yeah,
Bring your little stroller, baby wear them. I mean, for me, I'm like, oh, that's easy. Just one
right.
child. You're good.
Just, yeah, we shouldn't even say that, but sorry,
Well,
singleton parents.
I know.
But
I'm
yeah, just
sorry.
do it. Like, just,
like tie the child up to the back and call it a day, right? But like, yeah, baby wear them. Then you have your stroller.
Oh,
You can put all your extra stuff in it. It makes it super, super easy. Like
yeah.
people that have the little Laduna that looks super cute, right? It's
Yeah.
like you got the stroller connected to the car seat, stroll that through the airport, and then I believe you can even put all of that stuff. If you have a seat for your child, you'll be able to bring it on the plane. If you don't have a seat for your child, then you have to check it. So that's what you probably have to decide if you want to gate check your Duna. But I mean,
Yeah.
lasts for 6 to 8 months. I would gate check it.
Right.
Whatever.
Did you get a seat for your littles like when they were under 2 years, or what did you do?
So the only time I would do that was international trips. So when we went to
Okay.
Thailand, they were like one, and I got one extra seat
Got
because
it.
we needed something to be able to like
Right.
tag in, tag out, right? Most
Yeah.
likely they're going to be on us anyways, but at least once one falls asleep, or even if both fall asleep, we can kind of cross them over and then
Yeah.
they have that extra space, right? So that's
Yeah.
the only time we bought an extra seat
Okay.
is for
That
long haul flights.
Yeah, that's why I'll say, like, I think if you have it within your, so a couple things. I was cheap. So I wasn't buying my girls seats. Like if I didn't have to, we were going to have them on the lap just cause like that was the most affordable option. I'd have my mother-in-law or my husband travel. So when they were little, like when going back to like the baby stage under 6 months, or just like when they can't really do that much, yeah, baby wearing all the way. Like either you're wearing one, your husband or someone's wearing one. You could double wear them. If there's no metal in your baby wear. Another thing that was really easy that I found was like I could walk through security, which like
Mm-hmm.
I underestimated the security thing, right? When I
Oh
first took
yeah.
my girls with all your stuff, your stroller, like I that was nerve-wracking. I was like, dang, I wish someone had like gave me a heads up that like that was gonna be like the first big thing you did at
It
the
is.
airport.
You
Right.
get straight there, and now you're like, oh, you got to take the babies out the
Yeah.
stroller. And if you're traveling solo with two kids, like I have done,
Yeah,
like
what do you do?
you're
Yeah.
literally like taking one up and then like having the other one up and be like, bro, you gonna have to close that stroller.
Yeah. Right. Like, excuse me, mister.
Like
Like, I
my
need your
hands
help.
are
Yeah.
full. If you want the stroller to go through,
Right.
my friend, you're gonna have
You
to
put,
do it
so you're
because I
saying
only have
like
two
two,
hands.
yeah, and that's when you're solo traveling. So you're asking someone, right? Is
Yeah,
that what
you
you're saying?
have to
Yeah.
ask
You have to
someone,
ask
or
someone.
else I can baby wear one and then hold the other one, and then you need a stroller that's able to close with one hand. But with a double stroller, there's no double
Yeah.
stroller that can close with one hand.
No.
They
Oh
don't
my
make
gosh.
those.
Yes. They don't. They don't. We need to find
Yeah,
some. We should go into business and make something
yeah,
like that. But
let's
yes,
do it.
but no, that's like I think such a great point because even so, shout out to you, Marquita, because like I feel like I had a bunch of questions asking like, how do I do this by myself? Like, can you travel as a twin parent by
You
yourself? Because
can.
you can't see like it's I think it's jarring. People are like, wait, there's no way. And like it's different. Like singleton parents, like shout out to y'all too. It's hard to travel with kids at different ages, but there is something different about twins, especially little twins. Like it's just the
Indeed,
whole beast. So you're saying it's possible. What
it is
tips would you
possible.
give? Like you said, ask people for help. Make sure, yeah,
Yeah, come mentally prepared.
yeah,
So the first time that you think about going through security shouldn't be when you're at security.
yeah.
You did it wrong. Like literally, I'm thinking, so I'm about to travel with the boys by myself
Right.
to Miami, and I think through the whole process of like, what luggage
Yes.
am I bringing? Do I want to bring? So now they're old enough. Like, do I want to bring a wagon or not? Is the
Yeah.
wagon actually going to help me? Maybe I will bring the wagon. Then if we carry on, we can put all of our luggage in there, our carry-ons, and I can fit their two Pico car seats in it, and then they can just pull it. Like I am literally thinking,
Yeah.
how do I get from? Because most likely I'm going to be using a Uber. How do I
Yeah.
get from the Uber, get all of our stuff from the Uber into the airport? So that's where the
Yes.
wagon comes in handy. I should probably bring the wagon. Okay, am I checking anything? Don't know if I
Yes.
need to. Okay, now that I have that, then that means I got to get all of that things through security. Like me, I'm not playing with y'all. I got clear. I have
Yes.
pre-check.
Yes.
I need to get through, right? I got
Right.
two kids. I know I get very like just not anxious but irritated from standing in
Mm-hmm.
line. And one of
Mm-hmm.
my boys, he ready to nuck and buck. Like if he
Right.
has to sit there and wait longer than 5 minutes, like you're gonna have to give him some entertainment because the turn up is
Yes.
going to be real. So think about that too. Like if I am going to be sitting through security, what entertainment am I going to give my
Mm-hmm.
kid to keep them entertained while we're just sitting there for 10 minutes. We're nowhere to move, nowhere to go. So think
Yes.
about that. So going through security, getting all your stuff out of your bags. If you got to take your shoes off because you don't have pre-check, like all of that. How am I going to take
Yes.
my shoes off? How am I going to get all the things through security? What am I going to do once we get to the gate? Have we eaten already, or do I need to buy food? What kind of
Mm,
drink should I be bringing? What kind of, like, think through all of that. And
everything.
that's what I kind of say in my ebook. I give you a checklist of all of the things that you should be thinking about, because it shouldn't be your first time of like, oh, the flight's delayed. What am I going to do?
Yes.
You should already have an idea of like, oh, I got these extra lollipops
Yeah. Yeah.
just for
Exactly.
a flight delay, or the flight's delayed. I know they like hot Cheetos. Let's go over to the
Yes.
snack bar and get them some snacks. Like,
Yeah.
have a plan. It doesn't have to be written out. You ain't got to give it to nobody, but don't be shocked that the flight is delayed, because
Right.
flights
Flights
get
get delayed.
delayed.
I love what you're saying here because I feel like it's just so fruitful because two things. One thing you said is like, if the first time you think about security is when you get to security, boo, you done did it wrong. Like right
Yeah,
off, like you should like, you don't have to go, we shouldn't assume like everyone's been on a flight, but you should have an idea in your head about like what to expect. And like Marquita said, prepare like just like almost role play in your head. Like if you're
you
bringing all
do.
these bags or whatever, actually pick up the bags and be like, is it feasible for me to walk through walk through the airport to security? What's my strategy? Okay, I'm gonna have this on my back, have this here. And you know
Exactly.
what? And another thing that me and my husband didn't do, but we really quickly learned that we needed to do this was have like a system of who's carrying what. Like there was one time we almost left a bag. I was like, that's your responsibility. It's like, okay, cool. But like
Right.
even talking with the person, if you have someone traveling with you, talk through, hey, you're going to be responsible for this. If you have older kids, yo, you are responsible for your backpack. I am
Oh,
not carrying
exactly.
it.
Leave your backpack if you want to.
Yeah,
You
leave your
can
backpack
leave
if
it.
you want to.
You can leave it there
Yeah,
if you choose. You
but
won't
you
be
are
buying
carrying
any
it.
of
Yeah.
that, and I'm not buying nothing else.
Exactly. So I feel like having an idea, preparing, role playing, and even practicing with the type of stuff that you're going to carry through is so important to like just, you can't prepare for everything, but that's something you can prepare for. Just the
Exactly.
logistics of carrying what you got to carry. I think a second piece I would even say for us is that like the reason why I like baby wearing when I could, I mean, once they get too big, especially with twins, you ain't baby wearing anymore. But when you can, it's like you want to keep your hands free as much as possible. So
Exactly.
would you agree with that?
Yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely. I love that. Like, even when I traveled with the twins, I would by myself, I would baby
Mm-hmm.
wear one, and then I would have the other one in the
Stroke.
stroller.
Yeah.
And so then that made it super easy for me to be able to at least have a hand, like push with one stroller,
Yes.
do something else with the other hand. It just makes it a lot easier when you can do it. And even
Yes.
on the plane, like if the child is like in your lap seat, or a lap child, baby wear them. They're close to you.
Yes.
They'll be more quiet. You can nurse them if you need to. Like, it keeps them calm. Like, it really just helps the whole process of it
Yes.
for new
Yes. I
babies.
love that. And then for me, like once I couldn't baby wear them, I would like have a stroller and I would keep that stroller with me for as long as I could. Like up until like I got the
Yeah,
pocket
gate
stroller
check.
through, yeah, the gate check or
Yeah.
even put up in the thing because
Oh
like
God, yes.
like that's like an extra set of hands or storage under there. You can get little carabiners and like clip on little bags. Like the stroller is another device to carry stuff, y'all. So if you can't baby
Exactly.
wear, you keep that stroller and you don't take them out of the stroller to walk through. I mean, you want to tire them out, like let them run around, but have the stroller as the option until you get on that
Yeah,
plane because it just
most
helps.
definitely. Because
Yeah,
how else are you gonna carry all that stuff?
exactly.
And the
And
biggest thing is, if
yes,
you're frustrated, your kids feed off of you, right?
yes.
So if I'm frustrated and I'm anxious, and now somebody has to go pee, I'm like, why you gotta go
Yeah, to
pee?
be
Like right now?
exactly.
And they're just like, I just have to go to the bathroom, right? It's
Exactly.
very normal. But like, that's why you have to be as cool, calm, and collected as
Yes.
possible yourself, so the kids can be kids, and we're not turning up in the middle of the
Yes.
airport,
Let's
right?
talk about that because, yes, I love that. And let's talk about that because I think it's something that parents forget about just mentally preparing yourself and how are you going to emotionally regulate yourself when you're stressing out for traveling. Do you have any tips for parents who need to prepare their mental load for what is about to take place
Yeah.
in travel?
what makes you comfortable. So
Yeah.
do what makes you comfortable. So one of the reasons I got the GB pocket stroller at the beginning is because I found myself being very flustered when we were gate checking everything. So again,
Yeah.
if you think about a double stroller, you're taking out two babies. You're taking
Yes.
off both car seats. You're now folding a 40-pound stroller. Like
Yes.
now I'm trying to get both babies in the baby bag on the plane. I was just always super hot. I was always hot.
Yeah, girl. You got the big,
I was
yes.
sweating. I was
Sweat
frustrated.
more when you're about to do something like going through security. I just start sweating
Yeah,
everywhere, like even more
I
so.
was just like, this is too much. There has to
Yeah.
be a better way. There has to be a stroller that can go on the plane. And
Yeah.
so then once I found the GB Pocket, I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
we're rolling on. So even if I had to like baby wear one or hold hands with
Yes.
one, at least I have one GB Pocket stroller and somebody's in that stroller, the baby bag's in that stroller.
Yes.
I have more flexibility and I can just go straight on the plane. I don't have to wait on the side. And while I'm waiting, trying to figure out where my two kids are going, it's just easier.
Yes.
So figure out what are your triggers. We all have triggers and
Yeah.
figure those triggers out for yourself, what you do like, what you don't like, and plan around them accordingly. And so
Yes.
then that way you can be as calm and comfortable as possible. And then you can have your attention more on the kids and not your personal needs because
Yes.
you've already thought about your triggers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I just took a flight by myself, I don't know, the other week. And I was like, this is vacation right here. Just like traveling with no kids. Like,
Oh, it's so
you know,
great.
you get your wine, you can watch a movie. That ain't really happening when you have kids. So you just
No,
know that those needs might not be met. So let's just not do anything that cause extra stress because you're not going to like sit and chill. Like that is not the
it's very
case.
rare that happens.
Very rare. Maybe if they're
Yeah,
sleeping or something like that, but to do everything you can to hopefully prepare so you're not adding to a stressful situation, a potentially stressful situation, because we all know all the things that can happen when you're flying, like delays,
exactly,
this, that, the other.
exactly.
I want to go back to the GB pocket stroller. I know we're kind of jumping around, but I loved it. And I love that you name that, like, if you're a twin parent, you don't necessarily have to have like a double stroller or a double carrier. You can do both. Like that's the
Exactly.
versatility that you can have. You can wear one, put one in the stroller. You probably know which one is going to be more temperamental
Oh
doing what.
yeah. Marley
So
going into the baby wear or he's sitting down
yeah.
because
Exactly. My twin bee on my back. She likes it there, nowhere
yeah.
else. Like that's what we do. I will say I didn't find like I know there's like whatever converters you can get online, like to make like the
Oh,
GB Pocket
connectors.
connector to make it a
Yeah.
double. I've never done that, but have you found? I get this question all the time. Have you found a good travel double stroller for the air? Yeah, it's
Because
just
the thing is then it's not gonna like
go.
it's
Yeah,
literally gonna be too big to go,
you're gonna. Yeah, any.
right? Like
Yeah,
on the plane.
yeah.
Because
You
it's
got to gate check it. There's no double stroller you're
yeah.
bringing on.
So
I mean,
then
there
the,
may be. Yeah,
for me then that defeats the purpose. I don't
right.
want to have to gate check it. It's the
Yeah,
process of gate checking that made me sweat before I get on the
I
plane.
see.
So for
Yeah,
me that wouldn't be helpful to
right,
have a travel double stroller that I have to gate check. I want
right.
to roll right on the plane. And so yeah,
Yeah,
I use the connectors, but then I found that the connectors weren't as easy as because again, even with the two GB pocket strollers connected, I can't roll you on the plane
right. You
because
can't
the
roll them on
aisle
plane.
is
Yeah,
only so
so big.
big.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
now I still have to like go on the side,
Yes,
undo the two, and then roll you on. Like it's a,
yes.
that for me, it defeats the purpose.
Yeah. And I feel like it depends on everybody's different, but right. Like, so for you, you understood, like, I want to be able to be as easy getting on the plane as possible.
As
As
possible.
possible. So that means I'm going to find like, there's no double stroller that will allow me to do that. Therefore, I'm bringing a single stroller, wearing one, or what have you when they were that little. I
Yes.
think for others, I've heard horror stories about gate checking with their stroller and it just got jacked up. So, like, you also have to remember that once you gate check, it's going with the luggage and everything
Oh
else,
yeah.
and strollers can sometimes, especially if they're lighter weight, you just never know.
You
It
never
can
know.
mess up your stuff, and that would stink to now not have a functioning stroller at the destination that you're going to. So, weigh your pros and cons. There's a ton of options, but I say this all to like figure out what for you feels the most logistically feasible and then make a decision to do that. We talked about how security is one high stressor, right? I think
Yes.
getting on the plane is
It's
another
another one.
time when you're like, oh my gosh, I had someone random hold like Evergrace one time because she was just screaming. She wouldn't go.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I was just like, and
When
then
they're
I'm
like, "Give me
sweating
that baby,"
and,
I'm like,
I'm
"Here
like,
you
here
go."
you go. So what tips do you have for families like as they're getting on? Like, is there anything? Have you learned the way of the world? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think about getting on the flight?
So like when they're super young and they
Yeah.
can't walk again, that is when I
Yeah.
would baby wear at least one of them. Once they're able to walk,
Yeah.
actually give them their own tickets and I let them
Oh,
scan it and then I
smart.
let them run
Yeah.
on the like run
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's the cutest thing. Like I have so much footage of them just
Yeah.
like running down the jet bridge because it kind of helps them get the wiggles out.
Yes.
People find it extremely cute. They're
Of
like,
course.
ah, look
Yeah.
at him, and it gives me a second just to get my life together.
Yes.
So that is what I do. I let them go on, and then they feel super independent. So
Yes.
like even at 18 months, they will walk themselves on the
I
plane.
love that. That's so
And then
great. Go on.
I can like collapse the strap. Like if
Yeah.
I had time to do that because now they're kind of doing their things. They're happy. They're giddy. They're usually a lot more reasonable in listening to instructions.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like you're saying two huge tips that we like probably should call out. One, tire your kids out. Like if they're able to run, get to the airport early, let them run around, get the wiggles out, giggles out, because they're going to be
Yeah,
sitting and there's going to be a time where they can't get up at all. And the flight attendants won't let you. So get the wiggles out as much as you can
yeah,
tire them out, let them walk. And I also think about giving them autonomy. Like telling a toddler, just like we just kind of laid out, we want to know what's up, like thinking about what it's going to
exactly.
be like through security. Give them autonomy too and be like, this is what's going to be happening here. Read a book about airports. If you can go visit, like do that, get them excited.
Yes.
If they're freaking out in the TSA line or whatever, be like, okay, on the other side, maybe we'll set a timer. On the other side, you'll get the special surprise lollipop. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like give them something to look forward to and don't feel like toddlers, they want to be in control. You gave me the
Of
blue cup,
course.
not the red. I'm going to scream. Like
Exactly.
if the more control they can feel like they're having over the experience or what to anticipate or make it a game, make it fun, make them know what's to expect, I think the easier it is there too. And you just kind of name that.
Yeah.
I love
Indeed. And
that.
then they also know like what to expect and they're
Yes.
excited about it, right? Especially if
Yeah.
they've never flown before. So
Yeah.
one a good show is Super Wings. Super
Oh,
Wings talks
okay.
about all things airport and they make it fun about they may talk about a specific airport. They may talk about like baggage
Yeah.
claim, what the luggage looks like as you're going through. So then that'll get them excited, like, oh, look. So
Yeah.
giving them that excitement and something to look forward to usually makes them happier, right? So
Yeah.
like, yes, we got to wait through here, but don't you want to get on the airplane? Like we
Yeah.
can't like you see the officer there. The officer won't let us go on the airplane until we sit here and do what he says. And
Yes.
then they're a lot more reasonable.
Totally, like that makes complete sense. And I also think about like, let's say your kids aren't at the age that they can walk. You got a lot of stuff going on. You're traveling by yourself. Like Marquita, you had mentioned in the beginning, you looked at someone who's like, I'm gonna need you to help with this. Like that's okay. Like give it like we were talking about giving yourself a heads up,
Yeah.
giving your kids a heads up. When you get to the gate, give the flight attendants a heads up. Like they're gonna say, like, if you're traveling with kids 2 and under and you just go up there with all your stuff, they might not know what they're supposed to do or if you need help. What I've
Right.
noticed is that they're not always that proactive. If you go up and be like, listen,
I need help.
I need help. I'm traveling with some whatever months old. I got this, I got this, I got that. I need help getting on this plane with all these things. Boom. They gonna be
Yeah.
ready. Cause sometimes they just kind of look at you like, what is she doing?
It's
And
because
then
they're
like
trying to see if you
they're
can
trying to
do
see,
it.
yeah, they're trying to see if you can do it. And then you're kind of frustrated and you don't want to necessarily ask for help. And then people are crying. And then it's just like, it's hard to even decipher what you might need. You don't want to get to that point. Just know you're going to
Exactly.
need help and just ask for
Exactly.
on the front end. I wish I had done that a couple times because it would have made like the process more smoother.
Easier.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you
Yeah.
and it's nothing wrong with saying you need help. Like
Yes. There's nothing wrong with that, moms.
that's
Like
normal.
trust and believe.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to get to some of the Q&A that we got from
Okay.
our stories because people had very specific questions. One was around toys or like the
Yeah.
type of toys to bring or things like that. I don't know about for you, but for me, like it doesn't really matter that like I don't know if there's a toy that everybody loves, but I do know that if they ain't never seen the toy, dope. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just
Exactly.
like saving something they've never seen. It could be just like painter's tape. It doesn't
Yes,
have to be anything fancy. Something they
exactly.
never seen. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say like something either new or something that they love and they don't
Yeah.
play with often. So we had like specific travel toys at
Yeah.
one point where they only played with it when we travel. Even now, they don't use their tablets at home. So when they
Oh, yeah.
travel, they get their tablets.
Girl,
And
that's
so
huge.
they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
sure they love
yeah,
traveling.
and then
My
the night
kids are not
before
that
they
way.
get to go on Netflix and they get to download the movies that they want to watch.
Oh,
So
I
they
love
like they
that.
have something super fun to look forward to now that they love Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that can be like just making something that's specifically for travel or something they don't use often or something that's kind of nostalgic for them. I think that's what you should look for. Also, when you think about things that's just kind of interactive that will kind of keep their brain stimulated,
Hmm.
that really helps. So like things where they kind of have to think or like put stuff together, that really helps them
Yeah.
actually do stuff and kind of keeps them active and one like active in the sense of engaged, like their
Yeah.
brain engaged, and then it can help them also like kind of get sleepy.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you've done your work, you're tired. You know how we
Yeah.
work for a bit and we like, girl, I need a nap. It's the
Right.
same thing. They've worked, maybe they've done some numbers or some coloring or some of this,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, I need a break. And then that's when you get the tablet or the TV or whatever, and they can just chill out and relax for a second.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And like even like because there's like stickers you can put on the windows of the plane, like that's like
Yeah.
something like stickers all over the whatever that you can
Yes.
take off easily, or like coloring stuff where it's like those magic markers that don't get
Yep.
stuff everywhere. Something that stimulates them, something that they're doing, something they haven't seen before to do that, so it maxes the amount of time. And girl, you're great for not giving them screen time, really, because my girls would be loving the tablet all the
Yeah,
time.
they love it. Like they try to sneak it, and I'm like, no,
I'm
no,
like,
no.
nope.
Like that is for travel.
That's
They get
so
to watch plenty
smart.
of TV in our
Yeah,
living room, so it's not
yeah.
like they don't watch TV. They
Oh,
watch
but
way
like,
too much.
yeah, but like the tablet
Yeah.
specific comes out.
They
Okay,
don't
that's
get the
super
so
smart.
yeah, so they get screen time. They
Yeah.
watch way too much
I was like,
TV
dang.
at home in our living room, but you don't get the tablet. You don't get the
Yeah.
autonomy of specifically what you want to watch when you want to watch it.
Got it. Okay, that makes
So then
sense.
that's when they're like, I have this tablet, he has that. So they get and they play the games, whatever. So they get really, really excited. But I would also say, like, if you get stressed about thinking, like, what should I bring my kids? There's plenty of resources. Like, even in my Amazon store, I have plenty
Yeah.
of toys and entertainment. And then there's also a company, I just got Mini Voyagers. So Mini
Okay. Oh,
Voyagers
I've heard
does
about this.
yeah, I love
Okay.
them. They
Okay.
do like little kits. So like customizable
I
kits
love
by
that.
age. So you say your baby is like from this age to that age, and she maybe gives you 20 options and you get to pick 5 or 7
Oh,
of them. And
cool.
then yeah, so now you don't have to think about them. All of them are super engaging
Yeah.
and they're easy and small to use. So then I mean, if you don't want to think about it, don't
Then don't think about it.
outsource that,
Exactly. Yeah.
or simply go to the dollar store or go to the dollar section
Yeah.
at Target and just get little small things from there. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be super expensive and like
Yes.
curated
Right.
if you
It
don't want
doesn't
it
because
to be.
yeah, half the time it's just like you can come and bring all this stuff and then like they might look at the thing that costs whatever for
The
like two
cheapest thing
seconds.
that is
Yeah.
what they love.
Yeah, exactly. Then they're gonna play with band-aids. My girls are obsessed with some
Exactly.
band-aids
Yeah,
right now. I'm like,
exactly.
okay, okay.
Exactly.
We'll save the
It's
band-aids for the plane.
it's the
Another
most random
it's the
stuff.
most random stuff. You won't know until you know. Another thing that people were asking about, like, was just like for if their kids are still in diapers or potty training.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
ever have you dealt with potty training on the flight?
Oh, of course.
What does that look like? Because I haven't gotten there yet.
So with potty training, my tips are actually I just put a post on my website about the best potties for traveling with kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Noted. Check
so
it out,
that's
y'all,
yep,
at
that's
the
on the
Traveling
website.
Mama.
Yep, that's on the website. But what I would say is when I first get there, we all go to the bathroom. Everyone goes to the bathroom.
Right.
I'm not too proud to have them still do a pull up. Like if it's going to be a long flight, if there's
Yes.
going to be layovers, if it's not direct, you're
Hmm.
going to pull a pull up on. Like
Right. Keep it
that's fine.
simple. Yeah.
Keep it simple because one time I did it. We got off that plane and that boy pooped in his pants, and I
Ooh,
learned my lesson
lesson
that
learned. Ain't worth it. That won't
I
worth
learned it,
it.
yeah, I learned it the hard way. Luckily, his dad was there, so I was like, "Here is your
Yeah.
child," because
Okay.
that
Yeah.
that stressed me out. I was like,
Yes.
"We
Noted.
literally just walked off the jet bridge." I was like,
Don't be
So
too proud to pull up, is basically
do
what you're
not
saying.
exactly do not be too proud. Like if you're like me, some people are like, oh, it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. No, for me that it's a problem. So
Yeah.
know yourself. If you know that's going to be a trigger, have your child wear the pull-up. So what we would do is have them go to the bathroom before we got on the plane. They'll wear a pull-up on the plane, and then also carry like get your see what your child like. So some kids are okay with using public toilets, and then
Yeah.
you can just get the get the disposable little paper
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
put on there to make sure it's clean, or you can get one of the just the toilet seat covers,
Right.
and they're really small, they fold up small, or you can actually get like a portable potty because
Yeah.
some kids don't want to use big potties. So
Right.
know your child, and if you're going to use a portable potty or even a portable toilet seat cover, it shouldn't be the first time that they used it was at the airport.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
it at home,
Right.
see if they like it,
Give them
see
a
if it
heads
pinches
up.
their butt, like,
Yeah.
some of those, see if it's stable enough for them, like get
Yeah.
them comfortable with using it and travel with it.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Like don't be springing stuff up on people,
People
let them get
give them a heads up, y'all. We don't even like to be sprung up on stuff. You know what
right.
I
You're
mean?
like,
Like,
girl,
just
I never used
imagine.
that. Right. Like
Uh-uh.
imagine, right?
Right.
So like if you can get them comfortable with it, I would recommend doing that. And then yeah, it's actually that was the only time that we had issues where he
Right.
pooped on himself, but it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm like anticipating the potty time because I feel like for the most part with like little kids, like when I would always change them right before takeoff, right? I'd
Yep.
try and bring like some sort of puppy pad or like changing pad because they do have changing tables normally
On the
in
plane.
on the plane.
Yeah.
So y'all can like make sure if you need to, you can always change if they have an accident, you can change them their diaper if you want to bring something like a puppy pad or something so they don't have to touch the actual changing
Exactly.
table. That's what you bring. And then another thing we did on long flights, like we went to Hawaii and they were still in diapers, I changed them right before they went on and I put an overnight on just in
Yeah.
case, just to like minimize the discomfort they have for
Exactly.
between the peas. So yeah, treat it like, make sure you come prepared. You might need to go a little bit of an extra mile, whether that's a potty training kid, wearing a pull up for a long flight, or not an overnight like flight, but like you putting on an overnight diaper. Just try and get them as comfortable for as long
As
as possible,
possible.
so you don't have to get up and do deal with all that.
Exactly. Like why
Um,
make it hard on you? Scoot
yeah,
your plate to the side, put on a
exactly.
pull-up.
They'll be fine.
They'll be okay.
Okay, another question I had was around road trips, not just
Yeah.
planes, but like, did you have any tips for long road trips? I think people were asking about what toys. This one woman had like a 10-hour flight coming up. Not 10-hour flight, 10-hour road trip coming up. And she was asking about toys and snacks. And so what do you have? Is it different than a flight? Like, do you have advice on that? Have you done
Well,
a
I
road trip?
think I think that with yeah, we've done road trips. I'm not a big road trip person, so that
Yeah.
sounds like yeah,
Yeah.
we did road trips. We evacuated from a hurricane. It was
Oh,
in
wow. Oh my
in a car
gosh.
for like 10 hours with kids because the
Oh,
interstate was backed up. But we've
oh
done
my
other
gosh.
road trips, but that was the
Yeah.
worst because
Yeah.
everybody was on alert.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So
A high
even
stress.
then, a lot of it is snacks, like more snacks
Mm-hmm.
than you would even do on the plane because now you're able to give it to them. Like snack is king. We had always
Snack.
a lot of snacks, and then
Yeah.
also they have like these little you can buy the back of the seat little organizers or
Oh
actually
yeah, I saw
organizers that
that.
go in the car seat or in between two car seats.
Girl,
And
I need
in
that.
that, they can have their different toys, they can
Yeah.
have their snacks in it, especially once they're like 18 months, 2 years old, they can reach and get what they
Oh,
want
that's
themselves.
cool.
Then that way they can kind of self entertain either with the pocket in front of them or the little caddy in the middle or on the side of them. And then that's what they can do. But the toys don't necessarily look different.
Right.
It would be the same toys. It's more of how do you organize it,
Yeah.
especially if you're not sitting in the back seat and you don't want
Right.
to be reaching back every 2 seconds. The other thing I would say is, if possible, and if you don't have a minivan, rent one
Oh, girl.
because 2 year olds and 3 year olds are loud AF.
Yes,
My car is small, so all I heard was them yelling in the back the
girl.
whole 10 hours.
That's one thing I wish I knew as a twin mom because your girl
Oh,
thought I wasn't gonna have a minivan. I was just like, I'm not gonna get a minivan. I'm cool. So we got the Subaru, which is like it still has anyways, we should have got a minivan. Like I have an oldest that's 13. And so we have the twins. Anytime we go anywhere, if the stroller's in the car, my poor 13-year-old is just like this. We can't have no luggage. It's just like we're getting a minivan next, y'all. So just humble yourself. They got cool minivans
yeah.
out there. It makes life a lot easier, especially if you got twins.
Yeah, and I
Ooh,
would just feel like
child.
even if you're just rent it
Renting,
that
yeah.
way because their row is far behind you. And
Yeah.
maybe if you have like a Tahoe or a Subaru, I have like an Infinity
Yeah.
small little car, so they are literally
Right
behind
behind you,
me,
kicking. Yeah, yeah.
kicking, loud, fighting
Yeah.
over toys.
Yeah. Lord Jesus,
So
yeah, I'm gonna get a
yeah,
minivan.
yeah,
Noted.
we rent for road. Like if we have
Yeah.
a road trip, we try to rent a larger vehicle just so everybody can have a couple of square feet to themselves.
Yeah. Yes, I hear that. I hear that. So, like, yeah, more space is great. Snacks are king. So, snacks are king, I think, whether you're driving or flying, like an infinite amount of snacks, but it sounds like even more so when you're driving, just
Because
because
now you can bring
you
more.
can
Because if you're
bring
on the,
more.
and
Yeah, that's
especially if
right.
you're
You can bring
with,
more.
because like when you're at the airport, you can buy snacks, you can buy
Yeah,
real
that's
food, right?
true.
And you can get snacks on the plane. And it depends if like the driver is willing to make multiple stops. And okay, cool. But some people want to have these children in cars for 8 hours
Yeah,
and not stop, or 6 hours and not
right.
stop. Well,
Well,
if you're trying to do
yeah.
that, you need to bring all the
You
snacks in
need
the
to be on
world.
the snacks. I feel like okay, so we've been on a few road trips, and two things that like really worked for us was like a stop could be like a whole hour. Like it literally every stop when you get in all the kids out. My oldest is like in there lollygagging, trying to find some snacks. It's like, boy, get your butt in the car. Like, and then you filling up gas. People like, oh, there's a Chick-fil-A off of this. No. So I'm just saying the minimizing the stops on a road trip, like you could be out the car for straight
Yeah,
out, like it could add an hour to your trip. So another reason why to bring snacks is to minimize that because like the longer you can
exactly.
stay, not get off on the highway, it's just easier to get to your
Exactly.
destination. I will say for us, we did a lot of overnight drives. My husband's good at that, but that's not for everyone. But my kids would sleep. So
Yes.
like we get in the car Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving when most people have gotten to work, especially on a big travel weekend, like a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, a Memorial Day. And we go like late at night and we get a little traffic at the beginning, but then there's nothing. The girls just slept and it was nice. But
Yeah.
not everybody can do that. Not everyone parents the same way after not really sleeping. So it's up to you, but that's something that worked for us. Have y'all ever?
Yeah, so I think sleepy time, I think flying
Yes.
during sleepy time
Yes.
and road trips during sleepy time is the best because their body cadence is already wanting them to sleep naturally. So
Yeah.
trying to plan around that is optimal. So I most
Ah,
definitely agree with that. I also would say that if you can be strategic and plan your trip and plan your stops at a place where you know your kid can burn energy. So like stop, like I know off of this interstate or this exit, there's a park. So okay, stop
mhm.
at the park. And if you're gonna take the hour break, at least now that they're at the park, they're really burning energy. They can run,
Yes.
they can do their slides, they can do that. So then it kind of gives them something to look forward to. Like, okay, girl, you got 1 more hour. And
Yeah.
we're gonna stop at the park. Like
Yes.
relax for an hour and then mommy's taking you to the park. So it gives them something to look forward to as well.
Yes.
That really helps just calm everybody's nerves. Or
Yes.
we're gonna stop at Chick-fil-A. My kids, they only usually get Chick-fil-A on travel days as well. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's
Chick-fil-A is a
kind of
big treat
weird.
for us too.
Yeah, so
Like
it's like
Chick-fil-A.
we're
Yeah.
gonna stop at Chick-fil-A and then
Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
their act together.
Exactly. I know that totally makes sense. I love that. Yeah. Sleepy time. Yeah. Forgot to say that the windows of sleepy time are best, I think, if you're trying to book travel. They may or may not sleep, but it's just a better chance.
Their turn up is not here.
Their turn up is not there. Exactly. And then one mom had asked, I think we might have missed it, but one mom had just asked about twins on a plane and when they're in lap babies. So for us, I didn't know that. We got away with it somehow, but we had two lap babies in the same aisle once or twice. But then we were told a few times that you weren't. And so the question
Yes.
was, is that allowed or not?
Yeah, so the only way that you probably should have gotten it if there wasn't another person, like your row wasn't full.
Oh,
There was
no,
an
it was.
empty
Yeah.
seat.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
So
That is what happened. There was
that's
like a
what so
four.
there's an empty seat.
Oh,
So in every row and every side of the plane, there's only one additional oxygen mask. So if you have two
ah.
babies on a full row, which child you not giving
Then
the
the
oxygen
oxygen
mask?
mask.
So you're gonna have to choose your favorite child on that day.
Not the favorite. Be like, yo, twin B, you turning up. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, that's why. So there is a real safety reason. I thought they were trying to be difficult.
No, there's a
Okay.
safety reason. Twin
Yeah.
B ain't gonna get
Look at that.
oxygen on that day.
Y'all gonna split it. Y'all split a lot of things. This is when you're gonna share the oxygen, y'all. No.
So that
Okay.
is why,
Okay.
like, and so maybe you looked up. That happened to us. We looked up
Yeah.
that our row wasn't full the
Then it
first
was fine.
time, and so
Yeah.
then all of us sat there. And then the next, because it was a layover, the next one, the girl was like, "Oh no, you gotta move." And I was like, "Sis, we were just on the plane with all of us." She's like, "There had to be an
Right.
empty seat," and I'm like, "You're right."
That's
And
yeah,
it's
because that's
because
what
of the
happened with us. I
oxygen
was like,
mask.
y'all just being difficult, but that makes a lot more sense. So then I would suggest then if you can't like be in the same row, do you do two aisle seats? We try to do
We
two
usually
aisle
do
seats.
two aisle seats.
Yeah.
That's what we normally would do. And even now, it usually is if we can't do two aisle, then one parent is we're playing rock, paper, scissors to see which parent is sitting with the two kids. Now that we have
Right.
to buy
Right. Oh
seats
my gosh, then that'd be
for them.
nice.
I'm like,
Right.
because usually it's my husband on the side by himself. I'll be like, not today,
No,
bro.
not today.
You sitting in the row with your children. I'm taking
Right.
a break,
I'm
ordering
taking
the
the
drink,
break. Yeah, I'm ordering the
watching the
drink and
movie.
watching my thing. Okay. So yes, plan accordingly, y'all. But that
Yeah,
sounds
rock,
like the
paper,
real
scissors
life.
it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, so a couple more questions that people had asked was like any advice that you would give to someone thinking about their first trip with littles? Like they're not sure if they want to.
Yeah.
What would advice would you give a mom
I
or
would say
dad trying to?
just first of all, just do it. But
Mm-hmm.
don't be crazy. Okay. Don't
Yeah.
go over to Thailand for your first trip with your children.
Yes, sis. Don't be jumping continents, maybe. Not yet.
Yeah, no. Go somewhere that you've been. I know I said
Yeah.
this earlier, but really think
Yeah.
about the destination and the flight. So I would try to do a direct flight and or someplace I've been to, a route that you've been on. Like make it as predictable for you as possible. Everybody ain't got to learn in this
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like what you're learning on your first time, the real thing is what you need to bring for your kids and what
Mm-hmm.
makes it work for your family. Like that should be what you're focusing on, not all of the stuff with the flight, right? So
Yes.
go somewhere comfortable, go somewhere you've been before. If not, do a direct flight, do an all-inclusive hotel that's super kid friendly, that has the kids club
Yes.
and the
All
cribs and the
inclusive is
this and the
life.
that. And
Yes.
so then at least you can be like, let me figure out what works for us, and then we can become a lot more adventurous
Yeah.
after that.
I love that. And I'll also say too, because every family is different, every person
Exactly.
is different, every child is different. So if sis, like this ain't your season, like you see whomever online going here with their kids and there with your kids, like, man, I should do this summer. Don't try to compete or compare. Like if it's not your season to do this, because you just
Yep.
know it's just I can't do this with the twins right now. I'm gonna sit my butt at home and we're gonna wait a couple more years when I can know I can handle it. Fine.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't feel pressure. If it's just not you, do local stuff. Like go to the
Yeah.
pool, like go somewhere. Kids don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? They're
They
gonna have a
down.
good time. You can do the summer of local things and you don't necessarily have to get on that flight or do that long road trip if it's gonna be too stressful for you and your family.
Exactly. Do what's best for you
Yeah.
guys.
Do
Like,
what's
and
best for
that's
you.
what's key. Like, learn what works for you.
Yes, 100%. And then another last question that we got was how important, I love that you even put this like as you were talking about the travel that you do, but how important do you find it is for mamas to take travel away from their kids?
Oh, I love it. It's
Yeah.
my favorite type of
Girl,
travel.
I told you I was on a flight. Like, this is the vacation, just being on the flight.
Yes.
Okay.
So I take annual mamacations. We try to do annual vacations. I do annual girls
Yeah.
trips. Like my travel does not change because I had kids in the sense of me doing solo travel or travel
Right.
without them. They now that they're older, they get pissed though. They're like,
You're
"You
like,
went
where you
where?
go?
Where did you go?
Yeah.
Oh, so where we going?"
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's a quid pro quo. Like if I go somewhere with them, now we have to go somewhere with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But I think it's great because then that allow for me traveling by myself is the truest form of what
Hmm.
I love to do.
I
And
love
that's
it.
when I feel my truest self. So I think it's important if it's not travel, whatever you love to do before kids,
Yes.
find that girl again
Yes. Ooh,
whoever
sis, I
she
got
may
you. Yep.
be,
Whoever
right?
she is.
So whoever she is, try it. And maybe you don't like it anymore. That's totally fine. But at least try it, because you have to have that time for yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
You
You got to
cannot.
figure out what makes you happy and gives you balance and gives you peace, and do it. If there's a will, there's a way. You can figure it out.
100%. Like there's so many moms, you ask like what type of mom you are and they know. It's like, well, then what are your hobbies? Who are you as a person? Like, wait,
Hmm.
what? Like
Exactly.
you know what I mean? And like you forget. Like, so like you said, like traveling for you, that fills your spirit. Like you feel like yourself. For maybe it's someone that like used to dance or sing or would go
Exactly.
to comedy shows or do whatever you used to do, but get back to her because she's important.
Very much so.
And like
More
I
important now, right?
yes, so important now. And because your kids are watching, like you'd be surprised that like prioritizing yourself and understanding who you truly are, your kids remember that. They remember your sense of happiness. They remember your sense of identity when you know it truly and you're able to lead
Hmm.
and be a mother in a different way. And I feel like we should end on like that analogy of like with the daggone oxygen mask, like on a plane, on the plane, they tell you to put on yours, right? Before assisting
Exactly.
others. And that's literally because you can't fill from an empty cup. If you ain't got no oxygen, sis, who are you going to be as a mom to them? Bye.
A
You
hundred
know, you
percent.
know, ain't nobody sharing oxygen. Anyways,
And then they also need to know, like, they are independent people. They don't need you for
yes.
everything. They have a whole
Yes.
village of people who love them and support
Yes.
them and want to be around them and appreciate them and need them. Like, I think it's very important to give other people that opportunity to be with your kid. In addition to
Yes.
your kid, get the opportunity to learn. Like, they have the time of their lives with other
Yeah.
people. They get to eat all the snacks. Granny's
Yeah.
taking them to McDonald's. They doing
Right.
all the things, right? And
They building
so
those relationships too.
that's
Yeah,
really, and it's
exactly.
important. Like, if you think of a person, you have more than your mom or your dad that you have a relationship with.
Yes.
So give them that chance.
Yeah. Use your village. Let them find theirs, right? It can't all be you all the time, sis. It just
No,
can't.
that is too much. That's too much pressure on one person.
It really is. Well, Marquita, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
She is at the Traveling Twin Mama. If you all want to go follow her, she has some ebooks and also Amazon store with a bunch of resources that you can use for traveling with littles. But thank you again for chatting with me today, sis.
Yes, of course. Thank you for
And
having me.
of course, until next time, y'all. Peace.